Hey everyone, welcome to That's Good Denver. I'm your host, Chris Romeo, and today I'll be breaking down the Broncos' Week 2 ugly victory against the Houston Texans, but hey, at least we got the dub. And won 16-9. So, yeah, this is, now I'm caught up with all my videos. Like I said, I'm doing separate videos, as I just did the Seahawks-Broncos recap. I'm doing the Texans-Broncos recap. So after starting off 0-1, Broncos are, favored heavily to win this game, favored by like 8 points, and they should win. But yeah, after forcing the Texans to not score their first drive, I think we forced 3-and-out. We punt the ball again, then we get the ball back after forcing another 3-and-out by Houston. Drive the ball down the field. Russell Wilson completes a couple good passes to Jerry Jeudy. Russell Wilson did not have a great completion percentage on the day, but completes pass to Jerry Jeudy. That drive stalls at the field goal. It could have been a touchdown, but Russell Wilson threw a touchdown pass to Courtland Sutton that got called back because his foot was barely out of bounds. So the Broncos have to settle for a field goal. The drive stalls again like it did in Week 1. They go up 3-0. Denver does. Houston drives the ball down the field, gets a couple. Davis Mills completes a couple good passes. They tie the game at 3-3 as their drive stalls in the red zone. We get the ball back. We punt. Russell Wilson, has a hard time completing the passes. Didn't really get help from wide receiver. Albert O dropped a ball. And Tyree Cleveland dropped the ball. Didn't help. So Texans get the ball back. They drive it down the field again. Their drive stalls again. They go up 6-3 though with a field goal from the Texans kicker. Then later, after a flurry of punts, neither offense was really doing anything. Russell Wilson wasn't really looking good with his completion. We get the ball back. Russell Wilson gets a couple passes downfield, throws a 30-yard pass downfield, a jump ball for Courtland Sutton. He comes down with it, with a ball, and that drive unfortunately stalls. We were inside the 5-yard line. We threw it on first down, ran it to Javonte Williams on second down. He gets to the 1-yard line. Then we should have given it to Javonte Williams again probably, but instead we go shotgun formation and can't find anybody open. Russell Wilson. Then they have to settle for another field goal. Another drive stalls. That ties the game at 6-6 going on at halftime. Then out of halftime, we get the ball first. Russell Wilson on second down of 14 throws an interception that came out of Courtland Sutton's hands. It was just a good defensive play. That definitely wasn't Russell Wilson's fault. It was just, Courtland Sutton couldn't hang on to it. It gets stripped out of his hands. Then we get the report at halftime because Jerry Jeudy left the game with an injury. Patrick Surtain left the game with an injury. Wasn't looking good at all. Thankfully, our defense holds the Texans after the interceptions to a field goal. They go up 9-6. Offense still struggles. Only able to get a couple first downs. Then towards the end of the third quarter, this is where the refs weren't really in our favor. On 3rd and 1, we pitched the ball to Andrew Beck instead of giving Javonte Williams, and he gets nowhere. That brings up 4th and 2. Then we kick a field goal, but there was a delay of game that was brutal against us. It barely hit 0 as the ball was snapped. So I don't think they should have called delay of game on that. Instead, we have to punt. Then next thing you know, the fourth quarter arrives. We're driving the ball down the field. Russell Wilson gets a couple passes to Courtland Sutton, finds Courtland Sutton wide open downfield to the 30-yard line. Then on second down, Russell Wilson drops back and fires to Eric Sauber in the end zone for a 24-yard touchdown. That gives the Broncos a 13-9 lead. Offense finally did something. Then the Texans drive it down the field again, get to about 40-yard line. Then it was Randy Gregory who came up with a big sack to knock the Texans out of field goal range. They have to punt with about 7 minutes left. We start driving the ball down the field, give the rock to Javonte Williams. He breaks some tackles, gets a couple first downs. Give it to Melvin Gordon. He broke a couple tackles. That next thing you know, we're in field goal range. That drive stalled too. But Brandon McManus hits the field goal, go up 16-9. Texans get down the field quickly. Then on 4th down and 15, we're able to stop them. And Davis Mills throws it too high for Brandon Cooks. this turnover on downs. The game wasn't over yet because Texans still had all 3 timeouts. We had 0 timeouts because of our clock management and Nathaniel Hacket not being very smart. We get the ball. We run it 3 times. They burn 3 timeouts. We punt it. They get the ball back 30 seconds left. We get a sack. Could have got a fumble, I think. Bradley Chubb didn't fall on it. That would have ended the game, but Texans go 3 and out anyways. On 4th down, they can't get a pass complete, and that's how the game ends. Broncos get their first win with Russel Wilson, 16-9. So, an ugly win. Thankfully, we won that game. It was looking like we weren't going to win at one point, but we won, thankfully. We're 1-1 on the season. Still shocked that we lost week 1 to Seattle like we did, but, we were able to bounce back this week in ugly fashion. And, thankfully we found out today that Jerry Jeudy and Patrick Surtain are both day-to-day, and they could play this upcoming game with our big game against the 49ers coming up on Sunday Night Football next week. But, we got to start getting those injuries together, get those guys back on the field. And first, we got to, even though it's only week 2, I believe they'll get this fixed. We got to do better with clock management. We got to do better with play calling. I don't really know what's going on with Nathaniel Hacket with some of those play calls and stuff. And we got to limit the penalties. I think we had 13 penalties for like 100 yards yesterday. But MVP of the game goes to Courtland Sutton. He had 10 receptions for over 100 yards. Huge game for him. Stepped up big when Jerry Jeudy went out. And our defense stepped up big when Patrick Surtain, who's our best defender, went out, and Justin Simmons didn't play. So Kareem Jackson had a great game. And so did Bradley Chubb and Randy Gregory. Those guys need to stay healthy. But, yeah, Broncos are 1-1. This upcoming game against the 49ers is going to tell what kind of team we are, because our games are going to be getting tougher. We got the 49ers, Raiders, and Colts coming up. So hopefully we can win those games and, prove ourselves that we are a good team. Prove everyone that we're a good team. But, yeah, that's it, everybody. Broncos beat the Texans 16-9. I'm Chris Romeo. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm Chris Romeo, and that's Good Denver.